Alright, hello and welcome to this little replay video for the Mythical Beast Tech profile. Yes, this is going to become a tech deck channel. Sorry to let you guys know on such short notice, but it's only going to be tech deck videos from now on. No, deck profile video. You will notice some subtle changes between the build I showed off and the build I'm using in this, or the builds that I'm using in these replays, because it's actually a few builds over actually a couple months now that I've had some of these replays for. I've kind of been slowly collecting them and waiting to show off the right build, testing some new ones out. But the theory behind them all and kind of the plays are still the same no matter what build you're running. It's just a little more optimized in the one that I showed off. But anyway, for this first one here, we're actually up against ABC. And as you can see, he didn't open superb. You know, he's the two-hanger, the anti-spell, the upstart, and we're actually going first here. And we're actually set up pretty well at the bottom here. So we'll go ahead and start rolling this one. So we're going to obviously go Master Cerberus for Jackal, and we're kind of set up to start going from there. Now Zephyros is something that I was playing over for a while, because you can actually bounce a scale back and activate it again to go ahead and get more spell counters and help for free rank 4 plays, but it is just a little bit lackluster that you can only really set it up off of Foolish or normal summoning from hand. So we kind of ditched that. But as you can see, we're going for the modified play that leads to a Tornado Dragon. So we'll actually summon a Basilisk, add a Cerberus back for next turn, and have Tornado Dragon, Cerberus, and a Solemn Scolding set. So he'll activate the Chalice too early after setting, I don't know why. So we'll go ahead and just chain the Tornado Dragon, hit one of the back row he set, and then he'll go to activate Hanger, and we're going to Solemn that, hoping that he doesn't have another one. He actually realized after that he could activate another one after he already set, so he'll grab a B for next turn. And we'll top deck another Cerberus, which sucks, but we do hit a warning, so we got kind of lucky there. And we'll kind of just start going off a little bit with Jackal here. Now, I stopped my play here because I thought I had game, because I actually forgot that I'd upstarted and given him 1,000 life points. So I was planning to go for game, but actually didn't. But I still banished the C, which was special, the B from hand, so I did stop him a little bit there. He'll set up to kind of make a buster, or an attempt at like a buster on his next turn, but we have enough resources in the hand, we can just go ahead, get rid of the A, banish the B, and then actually swing for game there. So not some optimal play, but we did have a decent match, or a decent game against ABC there. Up now, we have a much quicker one against Blue Eyes. So don't blink, because you might miss how this one goes. Now we're actually going first, and our hand's pretty bad. So we'll go ahead, we'll just search a Jackal for next turn. We have double Garuda, but at least we have the Scolding. Now he'll module for the Advanced Ritual Art. He'll drop the alternative, so I know he's playing Chaos Max. So I'm going to go ahead and hit the Scolding, because if we don't hit the Scolding and he gets a Chaos Max, we lose the game right there, whereas this saves us the 1,000 life points we need to live. So I'm going to hit that, hoping he doesn't already have it, and it actually paid off for us there, and we'll live with just a mere 600 life points left. Now we're actually ready. We have one of each of the best mythical beasts in hand, so we're pretty much ready to go off from there. And we're actually just going to go for a double Master Cerberus here, because banishing both monsters that he has on the field will let us swing for game. And here we're just activating the tune tables to get enough counters on the field to make them indestructible before we activate their effects, just in case, there's an ogre or something. So we'll banish the alternative, banish the Manju, and once we go battle phase, he'll scoop, as we do have 9,000 on board, so even if we upstarted, we still had the game there. Now we have one up against Artifact, which obviously I know isn't meta, and he didn't open super well up here in multiple back to the fronts and things. But he does have a Sanctum, he does have the Mirror Force, so it's not terrible, and we're actually against that up pretty decently down here as well. Having the Garuda already and multiple Basilisks isn't great, but we have the Jackal King, we have the Cerberus, so it's not terrible. And this one's actually really fun, takes a few twists and turns along the way, so I'm kind of excited to go through this one. So we'll start off with, again, the fairly standard play here. We'll Cerberus to put the Master Cerberus, roll Garuda to put the Master Cerberus back in deck. We'll draw into a tune table. It kind of gets us some free activations there. So it actually worked out pretty well for us, allowing us to activate all of our cards. We're going to go for the double King Jackal, which against him really isn't going to do much. And we'll also set it for a Garuda in hand, which again against him isn't really going to do much. So we were setting up blindly and didn't really know what we were getting into. So I'll pause so we can check his backer real quick. So he won't set the back to the fronts. I would have set one of them at least, because you'll be guaranteed to activate the counter gate and the sanctum and some things on my turn. So I would have set one of those, but he has a sanctum and a counter gate, and this one, which is a if this goes special, your opponent cannot target. Okay, it makes him non-targeting. Not the best, but again, still has a sanctum, and the counter gate's all right, I suppose. So we'll actually draw into, I believe we drew into the Master Cerberus again. So go ahead, we'll hit the Sanctum, which sucks. That really sucks. That'll activate. We'll obviously just go ahead and use the Jackal since we're going to lose the Jackal to a Morale attack anyway. We'll go ahead and do some Master Cerberus stuff, and we're just kind of trying to get a little bit of recovery here and change our game plan up to deal with artifacts. I'm just going for Master Cerberus for damage, and because he's indestructible with the massive amount of counters we have on field, so he's kind of immune to Morale attack as well, and that's kind of why I set him up. Pause once again just to go through his back row. So now he has the double back to the front, the artifact ignition, which can hit the artifact he has set, and a blazing mirror force, so not a bad setup overall. Now we're actually going to get ballsy on this turn. He'll go ahead and jump on the ignition, which gives us an idea of what to hit. And I believe actually that was the first one he set on his turn. So we're actually going to go ahead and target that one whenever we do activate the Garuda here. So we'll negate that engrave just because I really don't see him activating much else. So we went ahead because I obviously didn't know he had the back to the fronts. So we'll activate that, hoping he really doesn't have anything else. And we'll snipe the blazing. Again, here we'll just do some Basilisk stuff. We'll put one in defense now that we know there was a Mirror Force in fear of it. And he'll actually go ahead and bring back the Morale attack here, which does suck for us. But he will target Master Cerberus, which is indestructible with the amount of counters we have on the field. Now he's going to go for Durandal. I don't know why. He knew we had a monster to gate up, so that kind of sullies this replay a little bit. But again, he still has some stuff back here, the Sanctum, the Catastrophe, so he's not in the losing position just yet. We're actually going to go for another King Jack to go for a Naruto, again in case of a Mirror Force, but we can't negate the Sanctum because it would destroy it, and it would really lead to the same kind of end result there. We actually should have still hit it because of Morale attack, but we didn't there. In main phase 2, we'll just go ahead and actually banish the Morale attack to try and get that out of our hair, since it's kind of been haunting us. And this is when it was still at 1, so now we don't have to worry about that anymore, and he is top decking. Now he'll get a Blazing Mirror Force, but we are going to keep playing around Mirror Force here, trying to go for game. So obviously we'll banish that. We will summon Exemplar. Now we are used to an Air Dragon, so we're going to have to get more creative here. So we'll just go ahead and build some counters, and I'll actually go for Felgrand. Now the reason I went for Felgrand and then for Garuda is because if he does special one back, we can just go ahead and negate its effects with Felgrand here. So we're setting up in case it's an artifact and in case it's a Mirror Force as well. So we'll actually go ahead and we'll hit it. It's just a Mirror Force, and we have enough on field to push for game there. So overall, not the best of replays. Again, there were some misplays on his part in there, but it was a nice long duel and a pretty interesting one overall. Now we're up against desk bots. Obviously with the Symphonic Warriors, that's just kind of the standard build of desk bots. They just kind of help facilitate the plays there. And we're down here. We opened, we have Toon Table, we have Jackal, and we have Jackal King. So as you saw in the deck profile, if you watch that, that's kind of the base of the combo that we need. So we will be able to actually go ahead and make some plays here. Plus we have the Otto's Pendulum Dragon, which will get us a Garuda during the end phase, which will be important. So we'll go ahead and do that. We'll go ahead and, King Jackal, summon one, activate King Jackal's effect in scale, special out the another one from deck using the Jackal we special. Actually, no, we have one in hand. Sorry, so we actually have to go ahead and go for Basilisk, add back a Jackal for next turn, and then during the end phase, we can actually go ahead and set up Garuda. So not the standard play because we actually did have one in hand there. I'll go ahead and Deskbot base. We're just going to kind of watch this doing some stuff there. Now, Deskbot 3 is actually that's the special from deck, so I figured that's kind of important. So we'll go ahead and actually hit that with Jackal King there, although it will get Ghost Ogre, which does suck and set us back a little bit. He'll go ahead and Guitars into Mike's, which will let him swing over the Basilisk, clearing our field, but we're just set up, really damn well for next turn here. And we top deck, obviously Master Cerberus letting us get anything else in the deck, which gets us free draw off the Basilisk, which gets us into a Desires, so pretty good there. So special out of King Jackal, special out of Cerberus, get some Desires action going on there. Sadly get a Duelist Alliance that I'm going to forget to activate here, but we can bluff it as a Scolding. We'll banish the Mikes and we'll push for a little bit under game here, obviously negating the Menko because he doesn't have anything else that would be negate worthy this turn, and we have the excess counters to do so. So we'll do a little angle set there, kind of hope he doesn't top deck anything that can get him out of this, like a Raigeki. and he doesn't, so it'll come back to us, and we'll just go ahead, go into battle phase, and end the game rather quickly there. In this one, your eyes do not deceive you. This actually is a mirror match, although I don't agree with some of his plays and some of his choices in here overall. Obviously, you know, this was still when Maxi was legal. Maxi is obviously an amazing card. It's banned for a reason. Scapegoat is an amazing card as well. But in this deck, you want to max out on spells you can activate turn 1. So things like Scapegoat and things like Maxi are stopping your deck from actually doing what it's supposed to do. So we're going first here, and this was when I was actually testing out Trial and Tribulation, because it's a free activation that gets you a draw on end phase if you resolve Jackal's effect. But I did end up ditching that after testing it for a little bit there, and it just wasn't as much advantage as a Toon Table was, interestingly enough. So we're going second here. He'll go ahead, and I forget exactly what he's going to set up for here, but he'll go Basilisk, he'll shuffle back, he'll draw. So he'll summon out the King Jackal, then he'll use King Jackal's effect, specialing out another Jackal, and he'll just kind of sit there on the Medusa. Now, there's a reason I don't like Medusa. It's because this is a Pendulum deck and they all go to Extract, not Grave, so it's not always live, and he just activated a card that he can't actually resolve in Scale. So for the rest of the duel, if we can keep that Medusa in Scale, he can't actually play the game like it's kind of... He can't play the deck like it's meant to be played, really. So that's kind of what we're going to be going for here with this frame rate drop. There it is. Back up. Okay. So we'll start off. Our hand's not that great. The frame rate. Come on. I'll pause for a second and see if we can get it back here. Nope. Pause. Okay, with the frame rate back. So we'll go ahead and summon the Garuda and go ahead and try to snipe out his back row, which is a Scapegoat, and he does have enough zones open to resolve that. So he will get 4 tokens there, but we did bait it out early to prevent him from getting the full value out of it. Now here we'll go ahead. We'll use Terraforming, use Magical Citadel. We're just kind of trying to build some counters, then we'll go ahead and Basilisk. And pretty much just hope we draw something off Exemplar, and we'll actually hit a Reasoning, which will get us into another Exemplar. It's not stellar, but it does let us get rid of the Jackal, which could have been a threat, which we'll actually gain the counters from one of the tokens, and then make a Utopia. Now I went Utopia here because Jackal King isn't actually enough to get over it. Then next turn we can actually go ahead into the Lightning once the Max C is passed, and we have a Solemn Scolding. So say he, top decks something that would let him swing over this. We can use Utopia's effect to negate the attack. If he King Jackals, we can Solemn Scolding. So we're actually set up to hard counter what he has on board right there. So we'll get a Magical Citadel, and he'll actually go for some Link plays. Now, seeing that he doesn't have any way to swing over it, we'll obviously go ahead and use the Scolding there, also preventing him from clearing out the Medusa in his Scale, which, once again, he still can't resolve. Now, top deck King Jackal, I'm going to activate it in Scale, because for a second, I actually forgot that I had something in the Extract Zone and I couldn't resolve it. So what I actually should have done here is I should have done this first. I should have gone into Lightning, gone Battle Phase, swung over that, and detached for damage, and then Main Phase 2 normal summoned a Jackal King, so that if he top decks a Mythical Beast Jackal, he can't go into Cerberus and use the effect and do anything from there, because we'd have, the one monster negate for the one thing he can't do. So I actually messed that up there, but he's not going to draw anything, so we get lucky, and we're kind of going to be playing Utopia, beat down for a little bit here. We'll just swing for a 25, he'll top deck, he'll get a Garuda, which will let him live for a little bit because he can't resolve that, so we'll get Basilisk, we'll summon that, it's going to get bounced back again, kind of just so he can stop us from getting any advantage and protect himself a little bit. So one more turn there, top deck Araigeki, which I'm actually glad he activated, because now we can go ahead and kind of start to resolve our effects. So we have a Jackal in Scale and a Basilisk in Extract, so we can go ahead and special out the Basilisk, and then Tribute Summon him for the King Jackal that we just added back, activating Trial and Tribulation, so we draw a card during the end phase there. Now he'll get another Scapegoat, but we're actually going to be able to push through it here with Magical Exemplar, because we have another 2 copies of Magical Exemplar in Grave. So once again, we'll try to snipe a back row and get hit by a Scapegoat, but we will actually be able to push through it this turn through Magical Exemplar. So we'll normal summon her, activate her effect, special one back, and for now we're just going to be kind of going ahead and building up spell counters here. So Duels to Lions, Basilisk. We're just going to keep building up counters until we can keep specialing more Exemplars. So from here, we'll special the last one from Grave. We'll draw off a Basilisk into a Master Cerberus. We'll go just massive counters racking up all over the field. We'll activate his effect, get into a Jackal, special that Jackal. go ahead and go into a Cerberus from deck, go ahead and banish 1 token, and now we can swing over 1, swing over another with all the exemplars, and because we banished 1, we have enough to hit for game there as well. So a very interesting mirror match there, and it kind of showcases the good of this deck versus the bad of this deck. And here's the build I showed off in the deck profile, just in case you didn't come here from that and saw this on its own. There will be a link to that in the description, but if you don't feel like watching that, I understand. It is a long video in addition to this one as well, which is kind of why I split them up there. But yes, this is kind of the deck. At the end of the day, some of the other things we ran also, we actually ran the Foolish Burial, and whoops, let's put that in the side deck there, and the Zephyros, yes. So that's some options there. Trial and Tribulation was a neat idea, but kind of didn't work out too well. I've done some stuff too where I've experimented with Max Citadels, less to Table of Contents, but at the end of the day, this is the build I felt most comfortable with. It always let me kind of be able to activate things unless I just opened a super unplayable hand. And this is kind of the one I've liked the most overall. But anyway, again, just a very fun deck. More towards the casual side just because of its inherent flaws, weak to hand traps, things like that. Obviously, a lot of decks are, but this one on the extreme case, being how it works, if they don't destroy for cost, they're susceptible to Ash and Ogre. Strike's not a friend. There's a lot of ways to hurt this deck, but again, if you're playing on a slightly more casual side, it's extraordinarily fun despite Master Cerberus's price. But anyway, wrapping things up here, usual links in the description besides the link to the deck profile, if I could speak. A link to my Twitter as well, where I put out some random thoughts about Yu-Gi-Oh, as well as little tweets about with links every time a new video comes out. Link to my Discord as well, where we just kind of chill, hang out, talk about Yu-Gi-Oh. Sometimes we get off topic, but generally stick to the card game there. And also a link to my Patreon as well, where if you want to support me for the time and effort that goes into editing these videos and making them and recording and everything like that, especially the worst deck of all time series, a very intensive series there, you can go ahead and support me there. No pressure to support, no content will ever be gated off, although it will get you some extra replays that weren't making it into the final cuts of videos anyway. But again, it's just if you have a little extra to give, it would be greatly appreciated. But just watching is enough for me, so thank you for watching, and I'll see you later.